Hello there, this is DBT, and these are the rooms. And alright, I just got knocked down right at the start of the race, cause why not? Alright, today, as you can see on the title, we're gonna be talking about Fast and Furious. While I am playing a little bit of Asphalt 8 in the classic season, I just started. This is actually my second race, so not a lot of progress yet. And, well, you know, I just needed to be playing something while I talk to you about this movie, because, man, I just watched it yesterday and I have some thoughts to give you now. The first thing that I want to mention is that there will be some spoilers in this video, but it's going to be towards the end of the video itself. I'll give you enough of a spoiler warning in case you just want to skip from that point onwards, if you don't want to ruin what happens in the movie and all of that. But if you don't mind spoilers, then yeah, you should be fine. But yeah, so I watched the movie and I want to talk about it while playing some Asphalt 8 because might as well. Now, before I go too deep into what I think of the movie, let me give you a tiny bit of a history, very shortly, of what is my relationship with the Fast and Furious movies. You know, they have been going on for what, like 20 years now? It's crazy how long that series of movie has been going on. I mean, we're already in the 10th movie, so there is that. So I watched it many years ago, and I have been watching them little by little, you know, as they come out and whatever. But I've never been extremely invested into the Fast and Furious franchise, at least not for many years. They were just movies, as we call them here in Mexico, palomeras, which means like popcorn movies, meaning they're just movies to watch, to have some fun with, not to take seriously. It's not that it's gonna be a cinematographic, whatever. It's not gonna be a masterpiece or anything. It's just a fun movie to watch, that's it. So I always considered it like that, and even though I wasn't necessarily too much into cars back then, I really wasn't, because remember that I forgot that I loved racing games and all of that for many years. They were entertaining movies. Now, as of what, 4 years or so that I got back into racing games and paying attention to cars again and learning which car is what and learning a little bit of car culture and all of that stuff, then I started getting back into or interested in watching those movies, and I did. I rewatched them, but even then, because I was very new in learning about cars, you know, I it's not like, oh, I recognize every single car. To this day, I still don't, and I probably never will. But it was okay. I understood a bit more, and again, it's not that those movies are realistic or anything, but they're still fun. Now, the last movie, the 9th movie, I did watch it in theaters, what was it, a couple years ago? And that one I was already a bit more invested into. Oh, I'm so sorry, I knocked someone down. I was already invested into cars and all of that, so I enjoyed that a bit more. But then again, here's what I was saying. Those movies aren't masterpieces. They're not about, you know, being either believable or making sense. The movies are getting dumber and dumber and dumber, and I like it, don't get me wrong. So I watched the 9th one, even where they even go to space and some. I mean, it's a little bit hyperbolic to say that, although it's true, but you know, it's not like the entire movie takes place in space or anything. But anyway, it was alright. It was very over the top, and like I said, it was fun. But it's not like I was invested on the story or anything. Oh, come on, man! I was already triple tapping, I think. So anyway, that is kind of where I was. The last movie that I watched, I still wasn't fully as invested as I am nowadays in car stuff, right? So, now let's fast forward to 2023, aka yesterday when I went to watch the movie. Obviously, I've seen for a while now all the trailers and stuff about the movie and whatnot, but I purposely try to avoid looking at you know, speculations or whatever of what the movie could be. I don't know if there were spoilers going around before the movie released. I didn't care. I didn't want to look at any of that. I wanted to experience the movie myself and, you know, decide if I liked it or not from zero. So I went to the movies yesterday. I went with my wife. She's not into any of this, but she doesn't mind watching one of these popcorn movies, so it was fine. So we went into the place, and first of all, I missed, like, I don't know, probably the first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, maybe a little less. I don't know. It's very confusing because we went to buy some popcorn and all of that, but I did not take into account that the cinema was just bursting out of the seams with people, and in order to purchase the popcorn and all of that, first of all, you know, it's dumb expensive, but hey, you know, once in a while that I go, it's fine. So it was so many people, we were on the line, and the movie started at a certain time, but then there's like 20 minutes worth of ads before the movie begins, and we completely, it's like, that's fine, we're gonna miss the 20 minutes of advertising. Oh, I'm so sad. Obviously that's fine. But then even after that, the line was so long to purchase the drink and the popcorn and all of that stuff, that we were still late for another, I don't know exactly how much it was, 10, 15, 20 minutes. I have no idea. All I know is that I started, by the time we arrived, the big bomb started rolling around Rome. That's what I can say. Now, I don't think that's a spoiler, because that's just at the beginning of the movie, and you'll see what happens with all of that. I'm not gonna give spoilers just yet. But anyway, that is the point where I arrived when the whole, that whole sequence began. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't think I missed too much, so that's fine. So, from there onwards, then we just started enjoying the movie. First of all, the movie is very considerably long. It's what, like 2 hours 20, something like that. It's kind of crazy, but one thing I will say, that is the very first thing that I will say, I did not feel it was that long. The movie was surprisingly, what would I say, paced enough where it didn't feel, at least to me, that it was dragging in any particular section. Even my wife, again, remember, my wife is not necessarily too much into that. She joins me and we have some fun, but she's not into that. Even she said like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to end when it ended, so okay. I'm like, yep, yeah, same. So that is the first thing I'll say. Even though it's a longish movie, it doesn't feel extremely long, simply because there's so much stuff happening at any given moment that you don't really have time to get bored. So that is the first thing I'll say about it. It is definitely entertaining. Again, it really depends on if you like the type of silly movies that movie is. But yeah. Now, talking about the movie itself as to, development and characters and all of that, it was kind of fun to see again John Cena. I completely had forgotten that John Cena was the bad guy, sort of the bad guy in the previous movie, and seeing it back over here but being just a straight up a good guy, was like, oh, that's funny, because John Cena has always been this likable individual. He has that personality, he's likable, and that very much reflects in the movie. It's hard to not, or it's hard to dislike him. Overall, he just seems like a fun dude to be around, so that was entertaining. One thing that I will say though is that at some point, Mia Toretto is still in the movie. Obviously, the son of Dom, it's also in the movie. There, I think Mia is taking care of him or something like that. I don't remember. It made me wonder very, very, very much. Okay, so a couple of Aston Martin beat me, but that's okay. I did beat the Countach, so that's something. At that point when Mia started showing up and all of that, I thought, what's up with Brian? I mean, the character Brian. Obviously, I know that Paul Walker passed away and all of that. They kind of gave him a send-off in some movie. I don't remember which one it was. So they cannot bring him easily over here. But that just got me thinking, like, man, it's just so awkward that Mia keeps on showing up, but not Brian. It just feels strange. I understand, obviously I understand why that is. The actor passed away. But I don't know. It got me thinking. Wouldn't it have been better if they somehow made the character also pass away in an incredibly honorable way in the story? In that way, they wouldn't have to be constantly, I don't know, finding ways to not include him. To as to why he's not there, but Mia is. I don't know. That's what feels super strange to me. But either way, it's fine. Not a big deal. I just thought about it. But yeah. So as far as the rest of the movie. First things first, I was really surprised that The Rock wasn't in this movie. I was like, what? Okay, well, I mean, The Rock has been such a big part in the previous movies. Has it been 1 or 2 movies that he's been on? I don't know. But he wasn't in this movie, and that's not a spoiler. It's not even in the what would you say, in the artwork or whatever of the movie, in the poster, so that's not a spoiler. I just thought it was weird, because I thought, oh, it would have been so cool to see both Jason Momoa, who is the bad guy in the movie, and also The Rock in the same movie. That would have been quite interesting. But either way, it's okay. So, oh, don't push me. Oh, come on, dude, really? Jesus Christ. The bad guy of the movie, by the way, Jason Momoa plays the role of Dante something, I forgot the last name. Which apparently is the son of the bad guy of the 5th movie. Again, it's not spoilers, it's in the trailers. So, I'm gonna say I was actually surprisingly pleased with the character. You know, if you know Jason Momoa, if you know anything about this guy, he has been, you know, appearing in different stuff. I obviously first heard of him in Game of Thrones, where he played the Dothraki dude. What was his name? Whatever. So the guy is big, he's long hair, heavy eyebrows, and, you know, crazy stare, big dude overall. So he's kind of an intimidating dude, and that is kind of the roles that he plays, where he's this big intimidating guy and all of that, and low voice and all of that, you know, that type of deal. So that's kind of what I thought it was gonna be, but again, because I didn't really watch the trailers, I have no idea if they reflected this in the trailers or not. But let me tell you, the character, it's all sorts of wacky in the movie. It's not at all what I expected, and because of that, I was surprised, and pleasantly surprised about that character. It was very silly, very maybe eccentric, a little bit wacky, and I loved it for it. I thought it was a really fun role to see that actor portray. So, okay, a couple of Aston Martins again, a bit the circles. Yeah, it's alright. As you can see, I'm not paying too much attention as to what's happening in the game. I'm just almost playing in what would I say, in automatic mode. Obviously, I'm still playing, but I'm not paying too much attention. I'm just trying to give you my thoughts on the movie. You know, at the end of the day, the gameplay is just a secondary thing. Anyway, so yeah, oh, my boosters are running out. I might have to reactivate them in the next race. So anyway, I really like the role of this guy. Now, the story itself, it was honestly, there's not a lot that I can say about the story itself. Again, without going into spoilers, it's just very straightforward. There's not a lot of anything that is happening in terms of character development or anything. Because, you know, the son of the bad guy of that movie is now the bad guy, and him being the new bad guy, he wants to get rid of Dom. That's it. That's the extent of the plot. Even the previous movies, you know, with what was a Cypher with Charlize Theron and all of that, it had a little bit more of plot as to, hey, here's this twist over here, and she has this person captured, and he makes Dom work for her. You know, there's more to that. This movie doesn't have that. It's a very straightforward. All of the good guys are good guys. All of the bad guys are bad guys. Yeah, there's a little bit of, oh, this guy, you thought it was good, but he's bad. Oh, you know, but it's very, very small. It's very secondary, so that doesn't really matter. The story, it's as straightforward. The plot, I would say, the plot is as straightforward as it gets. It has no complexity to it. But again, I don't say that is a detriment to the movie. I don't think it needs it. Like I said, it's just entertaining enough where even with that very, very thin plot line, oh Jesus, it can still deliver a lot of action, and that's in the end, I think, what you're there for. I don't think anybody's going into these movies to be impressed about the writing or anything like that. It's fine. I will say though, some of the CGI scenes are a little bit funky, especially the one that I was talking about, the bomb in Rome or in the Vatican or whatever. Some of the CGI in there, it's a little bit strange. You can tell very much that it's CGI because of the physics don't look natural, but oh well, whatever. You win some, you lose some, it's fine. Still, not really a detriment to the movie. So, that is basically what I can tell you about the movie overall. It was a really, really, really fun movie. I'm gonna say though, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, so, very minor. The movie ends on a cliffhanger. Not full-on cliffhanger like, oh, is this person going to survive? To be continued. No, it doesn't get to that point. It just doesn't wrap up. It's obviously setting up for the next installment of the movies, which I would imagine it will probably be released soon enough. Normally when, this seems to me one of those cases when they record the movies, oh crap, the boosters, I forgot. It seems to me one of those cases where they record the two movies pretty much at the same time. So I expect the sequel to come up maybe next year or something. We'll see. Even if it doesn't, it's alright. So like I said, it does have a little bit of a cliffhanger, but nothing extreme. It's just like, yeah, the story did not wrap up at all. So there's still more to happen. So overall, just to close the thought before I go into the spoiler section of the video, to close my thoughts, the movie was extremely fun. Extremely fun. Action action everywhere. I don't think there really was slow moments in the movie. Maybe it might be a bit too much if you're not in for exactly that type of movie. Then you might be like, Jesus Christ, can we get a pause somewhere? Because this is just action in your face all the time. So I don't know, if you don't like that, then you may not enjoy this. And like I said, overall, if you're into Fast and Furious and you understand that the movies are always meant to be just dumb action all the time, and if you go with that mentality, you'll have fun. If you're looking for something a bit more deep, more character development, more story, more all of that, you're gonna be disappointed. So probably not the movie for you. But again, I don't think if you're watching all the way to the 10th movie, and if you've watched the last 5 movies where things started really getting really crazy and dumb, I think at that point, if you're watching the 10th movie, you already know what to expect. So in that sense, the movie delivers. It's a lot of fun. Totally worth the ticket that I paid for. Although I was a bit late to watch the movie and the popcorn as usual was stupidly expensive, but it's alright. So that is the end of my overall thoughts on the movie. Now I'm gonna move into spoiler territory. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of time for you to close this video if you don't wanna listen to the spoilers. So if you're leaving, thank you for watching. I hope you join me in the next video. It's weird for me to be making a movie overview. It's not a review really, but hey, if you enjoyed this, let me know. So that is my spoiler alert, spoiler warning. So for anybody else that is still staying, want to hear a little bit about the spoilers, again, I'm not going to go into full spoilers and tell you the entire plot, but there's some things that I think are worth mentioning. So, spoiler warning, I think that's enough time. If you're still here, let's do this. First of all, John Cena, gun. Like I mentioned earlier, it was really fun to see John Cena in just the good guy role from the beginning of the movie. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, the guy's extremely likable, so what's not to enjoy about that? Now, somewhere like 70% into the movie, John Cena goes out. He dies. Because he makes a sacrifice. You'll see how it happens, you'll see when it happens, but I don't want to spoil every single little detail of it. But John Cena gone, it dies. So that was a little bit unfortunate because I would like to have seen him in the next movie also, you know? So that isn't it kind of not great, but there's a little bit of a caveat to that. You know how this movie loves reviving characters for no good reason, so don't you do it, don't do it. I'm not pushing you, buddy. There we go. All right, nice. He didn't push me. I didn't need to push him. See? Clean race. Beautiful. First place even. You know that the franchise loves to do the whole thing of reviving characters. First, it was Letty that died many movies ago and then she revived. Then it was Han that died and he revived. And now John Cena is dead. Whatever's his name. I already forgot the name in the movie of the character. But either way, now he's dead. So I still would not be too surprised if they revive this character. That's what I'll say. But for the time being, he's supposedly dead, and yeah, he doesn't show up for the later half of the movie. Not half, the later quarter of the movie. So we'll see what happens. If they did kill him, and he's properly dead, not reviving or anything, then, well, sad to see him go. But either way, he was a lot of fun to watch, so that's cool. I mean, he should still be there, right? It's big names of actors and all that. Either way, whatever. Now, talking about characters that suddenly revive, there is another character that revived in this movie. Now, granted, that is at the very end of the movie, so I'm still not gonna spoil it. But there's a character that was revived, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's alive too. So that's all I'll say. It was like, that's why I said that I wouldn't be surprised. It turns out that, because we didn't see John Cena brain splattered somewhere. So if you don't see the gore in their dead body, you cannot guarantee that someone's dead. So that's what I'll say. So maybe they'll bring back John Cena. I don't know. It seems like a possibility to me. I think the 11th movie is supposed to be the last one in the Fast and the Furious. I had read that a couple years ago, so it still kind of tracks as to how they advertised this movie. Being what, the beginning of the end or something like that. I don't quite remember how they advertised. Oh, sorry, buddy, wasn't trying to. Oh, no. Oh, well, he tried to push me. He paid the price. So I wouldn't be too surprised that if indeed the 11 movies, the last one, they're still gonna revive John Cena just for the sake of, hey, you know, his family. So maybe we'll see what happens. But yeah, overall it was still kind of silly. When I saw the moment when he died, I'm like, he did not need die like that. Come on, that just seems kind of dumb. Either way, that's that. Now, something else that I mentioned a little bit earlier is the fact that The Rock is not in the movie. Well, I lied. He is, but not. He's on the very end scene, so that's absolutely just a tease towards the fact that in the next movie, The Rock is gonna be there. So that's kind of nice to see him come back. It did feel a little bit strange. Like I said, it felt like The Rock was such a... what would I say? Such a main piece in the Fast and Furious movies nowadays that it felt weird that he wasn't there, but again, it seems it is extremely likely that he's gonna be in the next movie. So that's alright. Now, what else do I need to talk about the movie in terms of spoilers? Well, the main guy, it's not defeated, and that's what I meant earlier when I said that there's a little bit of a cliffhanger. He's not defeated. He's not even, you know, I don't know. There's the guy just, he doesn't even escape because he was never in danger to be captured or anything. And that is, I think, one of the reasons why maybe me and my wife were expecting the movie to keep going, because it just felt like, yeah, it's gonna continue. But no, it was like, oh, the bad guy is doing his bad guy stuff, and he's putting a lot of traps for Dom and his family and all of that. And then towards the end of the movie, which obviously I didn't know it was the end of the movie, the guy is like, well, this particular trap didn't quite work. It did work. I did mess Dom a little bit and all of that stuff, but you know, it's no big deal. I still have more under my sleeve. And you know, he I say escapes, not as in he was in danger, but he just goes away to his next plot or whatever, right? So that's what I meant by cliffhanger. The fact that this character is still going, I kind of like that in a way, because again, it's obviously bait for the next movie. Like, oh, this isn't nearly done, so we still need to talk about this. You know, we still need to make another movie about it. So in a way, I can enjoy it. And like I said, the actual guy, the character of Dante was a lot of fun to watch. It was very silly, very quirky, maybe a little bit over the top from time to time. But I think in the end, in a movie that it's all about cars doing ridiculous, impossible stuff, a guy being completely nuts and out of his mind and all of that, it doesn't feel that alien. So that's all right. So yeah, I think those are the main spoilers that I can give you without literally spoiling some of the things that do happen in the movie, because if you want to watch it, I do recommend it. I think it's a very fun movie that is worth watching. Maybe if you don't want to spend in watching it in the movies, then just wait until it comes out on, I was gonna say DVD, but I don't think DVDs are a thing nowadays. Whatever, comes out on whatever streaming platform or any whatever. Fun movie, absolutely fun. I definitely enjoyed it. And you know what, I'm in that position where I would be like, you know what, I wouldn't mind go watch it again, this time from the beginning, because again, I watched it in the opening weekend, so there was a ton of people. So if I go, I don't know, in a week from now, it's not going to be as crowded, so I may have a better opportunity to not be late to watch the beginning of the movie. I said that, and even then, me and my wife, we weren't the latest, the people that were the latest in the movie. I saw some other family that arrived to watch the movie after the whole bump scene had ended. So yeah, I'm like, oh boy, they certainly missed a lot of fancy stuff going on the screen. But oh well. Again, there's still so much stuff happening at all times in the movie that, you know, it's not like I'm gonna say, oh, they missed the magnum opus. Is that the right word? I don't know. They missed the main thing. Nah, so much stuff happening in the movie, explosions and all of that. I wouldn't be surprised if it was directed by Michael Bay. But yeah, there we go. I just wanted to give you my thoughts overall in the movie. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. Oh, look at that! Just in time, I actually ranked up. Beautiful. Wrapping it up beautifully. Lots of fun with the movie, lots of action. So I would recommend you to watch it, so long as you go with the mentality that this is one of those movies that are not meant to be taken seriously. You want to watch a movie to see cars doing ridiculous stuff, see the characters having apparent superpowers or something, and just be able to do superhuman stuff. That's fine. That's what the movie's about. And if you go with that idea, you'll have a ton of fun. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do, hit the like button. But I'm really curious to hear what you think about this type of video. Again, I'm not much of a movie guy, but you know, I'm curious. Do you enjoy hearing me rant? Not rant, just talk about the movie maybe that I watch. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm gonna do this often, but I'm curious to know if you want to watch it. But either way, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.